Hi, I'm Yolanda, and this is Speak On. There have been lots of lockdown weddings and babies, which has been lovely. But the pandemic has been less than ideal for dating and relationships. Whether it's leaving some couples locked down with each other for far too long, others reconsidering things, or people rushing into things because they didn't want to be alone, it has truly been a relationship test. But finding love mid-pandemic wasn't easy either. And if you were able to get out and about, it meant promenading like a character from Bridgerton, doing several laps of the local park, socially distanced, but without chaperones, unless you count the police. There were no public toilets open, and you might get rained on while you're holding onto a coffee, trying to remember how to interact and flirt. But what happens next? Are we going to see dating apps melt with the sheer number of people ready to date, find love, or just have a shit ton of sex? Was it love or was it lockdown? Has the pandemic rewritten the rules of dating? Will there be a boom of marriages, STIs? What will dates even look like? As we prepare to re-enter the world, people are getting excited about lots of things. Restaurants, bars, the gym, seeing more than 6 people at a time, and dating. We're about to find out what the hell that's going to look like. But to help me speculate further, I'm joined by Gillian Myhill, sex writer, sex and dating expert, and founder of the brand new dating app, Bear. Welcome, Jill. How you doing?
I'm well, thank you. Lovely to be on your show today.
Thank you so much for joining me. How has lockdown been for you?
Lockdown 1 was quite intense, I think, for most people. None of us had been through lockdown. So I think there was quite a lot of anxieties and fears that all of us had. But then, and also sort of a little bit of an excitement. You know, we never really sort of knew what any of these were. So I actually locked down with my boyfriend at the time. Yeah, it was quite intense. It's funny, I sort of look back on it now. We since broke up. This is why I say, you know, maybe I'm the classic lockdown, like love and the breakup story. We were together for 2.5 years. I don't know if lockdown was a consequence, well, the breakup was linked to the pandemic. Perhaps it was, perhaps it wasn't. I think with a lot of relationships, what you saw were, you know, cracks that were initially there in a relationship then became crevices, then became canyons.
Mm-hmm.
The intensity of the life has been pushed up over the last year. You know, stress on, you know, on self, on relationships, on health, on emotions. Everyone's emotions have been on a knife's edge, basically, for the last year. Also, you know, starting a company. It's quite stressful at the best of times, let alone in lockdown. Although thankfully, my co-founders are now decided it would go into online dating and not hospitality. So I guess there is that. We've been quite lucky. We've seen, you know, obviously online dating has been quite popular. We've seen a surge of signups over the last periods.
Well, I mean, I suppose that the relationship thing is kind of demonstrating what I was talking about in the intro. And like you were saying, it can shine a spotlight on particular things.
Yeah.
And this year has been like so stressful
Yeah.
for everyone. I think even when people think they're not stressed, they are. We all have this kind of low-key anxiety and stress that we're just like learning to live with now.
Yeah, I think, you know, you also absorb social stress. So there's an accumulated social stress around at the moment. Without that, without being able to decompress as we typically would in either social situations, in gym, going out, going to music, going to go, like all of the standard normal life things that we would do to decompress, without those escapes to be able to sort of go into, it's just highlighted so many more things.
It really has. So let's talk about Bear then. What makes Bear different from other dating apps? So I was checking it out, but I want to hear about it from your side.
Great. I mean, I'd love to hear your thoughts. So, it's been such a journey. My two co-founders are now, when we sort of sat down to draft out what we saw as our initial vision to now what the final product has been quite a journey. We were looking to create a platform which was completely different to anything on the market. In envisioning, I'm trying to sort of solve a bunch of different issues. Firstly, nudity, and let's address that straight away, because yes, you are able to be naked on Bear. I must say though, it can't be your avatar, your profile picture. So let's make that clear. But you know, people do show themselves naked. People are sending naked pictures, and we thought, well, look, let's create a space where you can do this safely, but not so overtly. I think, I don't know if you've seen, but our latest tech update means that a man can send a naked picture and a woman, it won't show as a clear. So you'll basically receive a out of focus picture, and a woman can scroll up and down and clarify the areas which she wants to see.
Mm-hmm.
What we really wanted to do with that is put control into the hands of women. Unsolicited dick pics have been an issue for many years. Although, okay, that does go both ways. A lot of women send naked pictures too.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just that men have a very different relationship to being sent rather than women being sent naked pictures.
Yeah.
Women tend to not like to receive these. So that was sort of one of the issues that we were trying to do, and also sort of create a higher safety level. We've partnered with a really great AI company called Yoti, so we do face verifications, also for age, which is sort of paramount. But you have to be who you say you are. I think one of the things that comes up a lot is people getting really frustrated with fake profiles,
Mm-hmm.
people catfishing, people kitten fishing, which I found out is a thing recently.
What? Sorry, kitten fishing?
Kitten fishing is when you have a picture that is like 10 years old.
Oh, I have never heard of this before. Okay.
Yeah. It made me laugh. I was like, that's brilliant. This is effectively what you're trying to do. You're trying to sell yourself as a kitten when you're a cat.
Yeah.
So I think, one of the things I love about our platform is that you're able to sort of gently dip your toe in or expose as much as you want. Like, so, your profile picture can just be showing your lips or your eyes or a part of your body that you actually are really comfortable with.
Mm-hmm.
And the more you open up, the more you're engaged with somebody, the more you reveal. I think there's been a lot of, we're trying to sort of get away from that swiping culture.
Mm-hmm.
So, and there's something very alluring about not being shown everything all at once. Slowly open up, slowly flirt, slowly get to know somebody, show a little bit of leg, show a little bit of knee, show a little bit of inner thigh, rather than just sort of, although, if you do want to show everything, why not?
So how does that bit work exactly? So it's like, as people are talking there, so they can start talking, they can match based on that, a little bit like it could be an eye. And then over time they can just choose to send pictures and reveal themselves, or they could tell.
It works like a sort of basic sort of, when you go into, so I'm pretty sure everybody that's listening has cropped a photo before.
Mm-hmm.
So you get your parameters of cropping, and the section that you crop will be the section that is unblurred or unfuzzy, and then you slowly move those parameters up or down.
Mm-hmm. And then you, as like, I suppose you can decide as you're speaking to someone essentially how much they see.
Yes.
So yeah. Okay, that's really cool. That's
Exactly.
really cool. And how have people found it? How have people found it? What's the feedback been like?
It's been brilliant, actually. It's so funny. I remember first sort of seeing, one of my friends using the app and interacting to a girl who was, not showing her face, but then showed her boobs. And I this is brilliant.
Yeah, you can swear, it's fine.
Okay. I was like, this is fucking brilliant. This is exactly what we designed the app for. It's like, if you want to flow, if you want to show your boobs, do it, but maybe be safe and don't show your face. We might not want that out there yet. But so it's wonderful to see the app being used in the way that I want to, and in a sort of nice, safe, flirty way.
That's really cool. So was there a really specific point where you just thought, okay, I'm going to create a dating app? And what was that point, and what inspired that moment?
It actually, I think I was the last to join the founders. So I have two other co-founders, Alex Sargent and Phil Beasley. Both of them come from dating backgrounds. So Phil has a dating company called Gutsy, and Alex ran events. So they came from sort of, event running. Me personally, I came from a very different area, but had used and have a lot of experience dating. So I was kind of the balance. And I think that their initial idea, their initial idea was like, yes, we should absolutely have a naked dating site. And I was like, guys, okay, let's turn it back a bit. Like, let's think about this. um, and maybe, let people show what they want. And
Yeah,
so I think I was sort of more of a, I softened the brand
yeah.
uh, from a female perspective.
I mean, well done. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
that. Thanks
Yeah,
for
yeah,
that.
yeah. Thank you. Thanks. I think most women in the world thank me for this one.
Yeah. So then with that kind of I love that. Sorry, that's really made me laugh. That they wanted to start off as like, let's do an app where everyone is naked, because there are amazing shows like Dating Naked that was on in America, and then there's the one here where they slowly
Yeah,
reveal
yeah, exactly.
their feet upwards.
Exactly.
So when people are being revealed slowly, do you think people are giving people more of a chance? Because obviously with swipe culture, it's we have choice fatigue, and it's just so easy to swipe off on someone. You can accidentally swipe on people. I've done that a lot,
Yeah.
and that's upsetting.
I love,
But
I
yeah,
love that phrase, choice fatigue, because this is one of the problems in dating culture now. I think it's one of the biggest problems is that we have choice fatigue, and you do, and it's really interesting. I was writing about how if you look at the sort of swiping culture and you compare that, how men swipe to how women swipe, men will literally kind of swipe yes to 9 in 10 women without reading, without looking. And women tend to, by nature, be more discerning, more selective. And I think in part we wanted to bring a woman's attitude to man's swiping
yeah,
culture or habits. So with the slow reveal, it was sort of forcing okay, yes, you need to engage. Yes, you really need to sort of listen to this woman or man or gender neutral. You need to listen to the person that you're speaking to rather than just bang 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 swipe swipe swipe. And yeah, I really hope that it's succeeding.
I love that. That's yeah. I think it's a really interesting one to see something revealed over time, and also to think, what would you swipe on? Like if someone just posted an eye, would you swipe on it? You'd be like, okay, that's an eye, or would it put you off?
But then there's also, there's so many, on all of the dating sites, and I think most of us out there have been on every single dating site. There are a lot of people that don't have profile pictures, and I think you also need to, like, from a privacy standpoint. So you think there's a lot of people that are front-facing professional people that don't want their face to be shown on dating sites. There are people that, for religious reasons, don't want to show certain aspects of their body. So I think there actually creates a sort of really interesting point in the marketplace where we can include all of those people without without that whole, oh, I've got to actually have a whole picture of myself.
Yeah,
And that can be quite scary or intimidating for a lot of women and a lot of men.
yeah, like a modesty and privacy barrier,
Yeah,
essentially.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
So even though, yeah, from a forward facing, yes, there can be nudity, but actually if you rein it right back, you don't have to show anything at all.
I think it's interesting as well, because I can imagine the kind of, we know that men and women's dating habits and online dating habits are so different. So it must be quite interesting to think of the kind of man that would choose to go on an app where it kind of already sets the tone that someone is getting ready, that wants to know someone, and they're happy with a slow reveal as well, which kind of, I suppose, is a different type of person
Yeah,
already on the app, and
yeah.
maybe like more intentional.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I hope so. I just, I think, our tagline is sort of dating for the open-minded. And that's really what we're trying to achieve, be open-minded, allow people freedoms, allow people to sort of reveal slowly. But then also, if people want to be all out there, if people want to, if they're seeking a third person to be a lover of a couple, if they're seeking a man or a trans or a lesbian, or, there's space for that. There is space for everyone. And we try to sort of encourage all people, all genders, all
Yeah.
sexual integrations on the site.
What challenges have you faced creating this app? Like, what has been the biggest challenge?
Oh my God, where do I start? I think, well, first of all, finances are always hard. When you sort of launch a company, you look for investment. We found investors, which is wonderful. We're also about to launch a Seeders campaign for another round of investment. because we're now in a strong position to be able to do so. So I'd say that's kind of one of the large hurdles, I'm not going to lie. Secondly, you kind of maintaining that vision, maintaining clarity. I often speak about how when you're starting a company or when you have a vision, maintain integrity of your initial vision. I think so along the way, you're going to try to get swayed from that particular vision, and to be able to maintain that clarity is really important. And integrity of the product. And then, wow, all of your relationships are going to get strained. Make sure that you've got good friends around you to hold you up, to give you good advice, to be a shoulder to cry on, because there will be tears.
Yeah.
It's hard, but also incredibly rewarding. Incredibly rewarding to be able to see the platform being used, to be able to see the successes that they were having. And also it really does feel like we're sitting on a precipice at the moment. And that we always believed in how big Bear can be. And yeah, there are times when you is this ever going to work? And it really does feel now that we will reach global status, which is also scary. It's also really scary.
Yeah.
But exciting, really exciting.
Definitely, it sounds it. What have you learned about people's dating habits along the way? Because obviously I can imagine there's a huge amount of research right through to launch, and obviously even while it's currently used. Have there been any, I don't know, surprising bits of information about the way people date?
Oh, that's a good one. I think most topical, and that you brought up recently, this whole return to Victorian times of promenading is just so strange. And over the last year has been so strange. I guess there is no dating, right? At the moment, from a traditional sense. And we're thrust into this world of where it's sort of like this dystopian weird version of Footloose, where you're not allowed to like kissing is illegal, and touching is illegal. Thankfully we're still allowed to dance, but hey. So I think that's sort of one thing that we've really noticed leading up to the development. There are definitely, I think it's such an individual thing, dating. I think what we do find, and what I've noticed, is people have very specific ideas. A lot of people will have different apps for different purposes. People find different types of people. So, people will be on one app looking for a new partner, be on another app looking for someone to shag. But then also find on different services. So it's really hard to create a platform with an intent of just being there to find a love partner or to find a marriage. I think that's going to come up to the individual. And how people bond or how people link is such a unique thing. It really is. But yeah, dating habits over the last year have been bizarre.
Definitely. So how have people been using dating apps during the pandemic? Like you said, you saw a surge in sign-ups and everything else. How have people been using it? So I suppose these longer, deeper conversations, kind of more linger time, etc.
Yeah, there is that. I also think that there's definitely an element of people, and one of the great things that dating apps have been able to do during the time of the pandemic is to be able to, it's like a lifeline for a lot of people. A lot of people are alone and living alone and isolated, and being able to sort of use dating apps as a social world, as a social crux, as somewhere to go into, or maybe into a fantasy land, in an obviously a 100% pandemic safe way, because it's remote, you're online. That's why I think we've seen a surge. You've been able to sort of link with people online and have conversations, whereas, when you can't have a conversation in a bar, yes, you can on Bear. Yes, you can expose yourself. Yes, you can have a sexy conversation. You can share naked pictures. You can do this in 100% a safe way. So yeah, I think this is sort of a big reason why we've seen a surge.
It's like you were saying, I love what you were saying there about it's being a lifeline for people, because when discussing love, sex and relationships over the past few months on the podcast, we talked a lot about like lots of people have mentioned going out, dating, have they found love, etc., how their relationships have gone. But we forget as well how many people are shielding and are actually completely isolated. And someone reminded me of that when I was pulling together the questions for this chat. And they were like, well, what about people that can't go anywhere? We're like saying, oh, we're going out walking like Bridgerton. But she was like, there's some people that still, they're, until they're vaccinated, they have literally had a year of just off dating entirely, and any interaction that isn't maybe like video or incredibly socially distanced. How do you think, I suppose that's also my question really is, like, has COVID changed dating for better or worse, do you think?
Oh, that's a good one. I guess if that remains to be seen. I think it's, you know, and in your opening, you were talking about what's going to happen now. See, I previously used to sort of have specific rules when talking to people online and I would have a don't linger too long, don't talk too long, arrange to meet, you know, especially for me, like if my end goal is physical, like I want to be able to see somebody, I want to be able to talk to somebody. So I would say, you know, interact for a couple of days, arrange a phone call, talk on the phone, because that's a really good barrier to see if you're going to have chemistry, and then arrange to meet. So, and all of that has changed. I think it's really difficult because a lot of the time, chemistry won't translate from text into real life. And, you know, you'll meet somebody and they won't, you know, they might not smell right, they might not look right, they might not feel right. So I think, yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see if it has changed for good or better. I think we're more measured. I think you know, COVID has made people more measured. There's definitely a lot of us that are, as you know, the assessment of risk has changed. Um, you know, no longer are STIs the scary thing. COVID was the scary thing.
Yes, of
Are we
course.
go back to being scared for the STIs? Have we seen a dramatic decrease in STIs? Because from my understanding of the data is that actually we haven't. So people are still, you know, there's a lot of people that have been breaking rules. And yeah, it's I don't know. I guess it's gonna be a really interesting time. I think, yeah, we're going to see a general excitement when we come out of this. I think, yes, we're going to see a huge range in STIs. Please, people, protect yourselves.
Yes, please.
Will we see more marriages or babies, breakups? Probably all of the above. All of the above. There's a lot of talk about, you know, this is going to be the new roaring 20s. Hey, it's going to be a great time, isn't it? I'm really excited to get out again. I'm really excited to see my friends and to start dating again and to actually be, you know, that thought of that first touch, that first kiss, that first kind of nervous excitement of meeting someone again.
I'm interested to see how, there's a lot of people I know that have met people during lockdown, and I'm like, oh, like, so do you think this is it? And they're like, we'll see in June. So I think that when they're out and about and obviously able to interact with anyone else as well, how that will shift things. And do you think that dating will ever go back to normal, and should it go back to normal? Because I'm talking things like, obviously you've mentioned kitten fishing, catfishing, ghosting, breadcrumbing, all these different things. Do you think all of these things are just going to happen again? Or do you think people will change and be more intentional?
Sadly, I think it's inevitable. I think this is just human nature. And people are people. You can't hard change big numbers. Some people will change, some people will not. Hopefully more do than don't. But there are always going to be those people out there. I you know, I think it's also develop screening, your own personal screening. How you screen people is a very interesting thing. And I go back to, you know, I would say talk to somebody on the phone. You can learn a lot about, yes, you know, engage with somebody online, but then have a phone call and then meet. I think there should be a progression. A lot of people use dating sites just for chat. They have no intention of meeting, and that's okay too. I think they you know, dating sites mean different things for different people.
Yeah, like you said, I suppose it's that connection with someone else, even if it is just through conversation. It's kind of a level of companionship, I guess.
Yes, exactly. I think a lot of people have used dating sites for companionship over the last year.
Mm. And do you think that we're going to have an influx of people joining as we're kind of, we're finally free, we can go outside?
Yep.
They're either sick of their current partners, so then that's definitely going to end, or they've realized it wasn't love, it was definitely lockdown, or they just like, yes, other people. Do you think there's going to be a huge influx and all the dating apps are just going to melt under the pressure?
Well, thankfully we've got really strong servers, so we won't use Amazon servers, we haven't crashed yet. I think yes, and I talking to all of my single friends that have all been sort of holding off engaging with people a lot, because it's sort of like, well, I don't really want to engage with somebody unless I can meet them. And the whole promenading walk thing, oh my god, like in the depths of February when it was subarctic outside, and as hard as you try, your big winter coat and sniffling along the red cheeks, it's not that sexy. And the winds, and you're kind of like, yeah, this is nice, but I'm actually really cold, and
except there's nowhere for me to go for a wee, I need to go.
No, exactly. And it's just I'm sure a lot of people made it fun. For me personally, I just didn't really find it that fun. With the weather warming up and you're able to actually sit outside and have a drink in a park, maybe not wear 5 layers of coats. There's a different aspect to it. There's definitely different aspects, and I think as we're coming up to it, I think we're going to notice in the next 3 or 4 weeks a massive influx of people looking to set up dates as things reopen.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's like, I wonder if every time they make a government announcement, if people then, that triggers people to then go online at that moment and start swiping, and start like revealing.
I was talking to my housemate, and she's like, literally has, it's just like, I am not going to start looking until 2 weeks before like the final lockdown date. And I was like, okay, that kind of makes sense. I get it.
That does make sense, doesn't it? And I suppose because the dates are subject to change, we don't know what's going to happen. People may not be vaccinated, etc., etc. So it really depends, doesn't it? So yes, I suppose really, if anyone is out there and they're wanting to date, tactically, just maybe like start to kind of ease into it a few weeks beforehand, and then you can I wonder if that will be huge amounts of people joining. That'd be interesting to see the data on that.
Well, I'll get back to you.
Definitely, I'm gonna need all the updates, please.
Absolutely.
And do you think like this, we've lived in for a whole year, which is insane when you say it, an entire year, 160 whatever days at this point. We've had a potential health threat just hanging over us, and isolation. So even if you are living with people, or like whether you live by yourself, there's still obviously a massive, everybody's world has shrunk entirely. Has it changed what people want overall? Do you think, are we going to see people being more intentional about what they want from relationships now, because you've had like a whole year of self-reflection? Or do you think they'll settle for anyone and they'll overlook red flags because they were like, fuck this shit, I'm sick of being single? Or are they just going to be like, that's it, I'm going to run through the streets naked and have sex with everyone? Which scenario?
As I said, I think we're going to have all of the above. We could go into, I could pretty much say, okay, so you're going to have an age group of between, the 19 to 25 or 30-year-olds sort of run naked through the streets. And then
good on them.
Hell yeah.
Live your best life, kids.
Live your best life. Just be safe. I think, yes, we're going to see a lot of that. I think we are. I think for other people, either it's, as I said, growing holes in relationships, or they decided, actually, no, that's not what I want. Maybe people have then decided, okay, they've been single for too long, and actually, I want to find somebody. I don't want to have to go through another pandemic alone. I think, society, the intensity of what we've lived through has forced people together and pushed people apart. And so you're going to have equal measures of both.
Definitely. It's good. Definitely going to be interesting to see how open people are as well about what they want, because I've definitely seen over time, like in previous times when I was dating, I've seen people be like, just kind of be clearer about what they want. They're like, whether it's like no hookups, or as some guys love to say, no crazy women. And it's like, hun, if you need to say it, you are the person inducing crazy or causing
Pretty much.
crazy. But anyway, yeah. But
I
all they're
always
saying,
that.
literally,
Sorry, also, but what does that mean?
literally. And if you feel the need to say it, if this has happened to you lots of times, hun, you are the common denominator.
Yep, pretty much.
But
so it's usually the man that, will cheat, and
yes,
all of his girlfriends have got a bit crazy, and it's like, well, don't cheat on your girlfriends.
literally, you can just be single, dude. But yeah,
just
because people are going to be so much more
minded.
Exactly, people will be so much kind of more open to things, be so much more clearer about things. So I wonder if it's going to be the case of, now I'm out of the pandemic, I just want to get married and have kids or whatever else. I wonder if that.
Yeah, I think it has.
That.
I think it will bring that out in a lot of people. I really do. I think it's sort of also that isolation. I think a lot of people's ideas of what they want are going to shift.
That's really going to be interesting to see. I wonder if there will be like a bit of a marriage boom, but people, because we've had this low-key anxiety, stress, and everything else hanging over us, and also that imminent health threat. I wonder if it's going to make people do the whole, life is short, I've met someone, they're great, I'm in love now. And I wonder if we're going to see lots of marriages with really short leads.
Yeah. That's
be
interesting. It's going to be an interesting one to watch, isn't it?
It really is. I know we're just speculating wildly, but I genuinely feel like there needs to be a catch-up show like in about 6 months to a year, and we're going to need to have just check-ins just to go through all these different scenarios and work out what actually happened.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be fascinating, isn't it?
It really is.
Well, and that large-scale social experiment that we're all a part of.
Exactly. Yeah, like truly, there's an aliens experimenting on us right now.
It kind of feels like it, doesn't it?
So have you seen, like we've talked about some of these changes that might occur, have you seen any of these reflected in the app yet, in terms of, because obviously right at the beginning of the app you can say, what do you want? Like it asks you, what do you even want? What are you doing here? That's what Bear asks you as you join. What do you want? And it's like, do you want something serious? Do you want something less serious? Have you seen a shift at all towards any of those different choices?
I think we've seen a shift for people being more open, so
interesting,
less serious.
Yeah.
But then also, I think most of our kind of branding is about being open.
Yeah.
That's not meant to say, you wouldn't be open to something serious once you meet somebody, but it's just actually, I'm not quite sure where I am right now. I don't want to take anything too seriously.
Yeah. I suppose that's kind of, I mean, in this point of reflection, I suppose in this point we're getting ready to re-enter the world, how that's forcing people to behave differently and reflect differently. Like, I mean, I run a business, so I'm just like, at this moment, I'm like, okay, the world is getting ready to open. And all I've done is just write continual plans like every day, because it's like, I don't know what's going to happen. So I just can't stop writing plans.
That's a good coping mechanism though. That's a real coping mechanism.
It's definitely, it's been helped me clear up my mind.
Yeah, it organizes your mind, which is a really good thing.
So isolation has had a massive effect on people's social skills. And I mean, I don't know if you're an extrovert, an ambivert, or an introvert. I'm an ambivert, but truly it's like not being able to go out and do stuff at times has just made me like press my face against the window and just want to scream into the abyss because I just want to go to a bar. But I feel that when I have been round a larger group of people, so when I say a larger group, there are no large groups, but in between lockdown, when I went to see my family, and I have a really big family, it was really weird going into my family home where they've all been living together, so they're all in the big unit that they've always been in. And I was just, sometimes I'm like, yeah, really into it. And other times I was just sitting there quite quiet. And I was like, oh no, are my social skills a bit fucked up now? Because I've been away from people for so long. A lot of people are going to be kind of weird as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
What tips do you have for people that are going to prepare to date again? How do you think they...
Well, I guess firstly, I 100% agree. I think people's social skills are going to, and also a lot of social anxiety, even though we've been sitting here for the last year being like, I want to go out, I want to go out, I want to go out, I want to go out. And then actually, now we're thinking, oh, I don't quite know if I do. And maybe I do, but a little, I think I would say take it slowly. Maybe don't go for the whole, large and crowded spaces, just go somewhere quiet on a date around other people, but not too busy. I think also it's learning how to not talk about COVID, because it's all anyone has spoken about for the last year. And so I think learn to not talk about COVID, maybe practice some other talking points, even if you have to write some notes.
Can you imagine that? Someone's just going to whip out some cards and be like, hold on 1 second.
Hold on, what else
just,
do I,
yeah,
exactly.
Exactly.
What else is going in the world these days?
Yeah. Do you prefer lasagna or cannelloni? Like, it's kind of...
It is, and I think that's a big thing. It's like, you know, and I know for me, like, you know, seeing when I've been able to see friends and go and you know, have in the various stages of unlockdown, it sort of gets to that point. It's like, no more COVID talk. Let's talk about other things. But that will become easier.
Yeah.
You think about what we used to speak about. You know, we used to talk about the things that we were going to and events we'll be doing, like which will be nice. So, you know, for example, today I'm going kayaking.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, maybe start sort of creating your own life back. And so you're able to talk about life again, life post-COVID.
Yeah. And I can imagine people are going to be booking in so many things. They're going to be quite excited to share what they've got coming up, and also the things they've just done as well. So even last year, when I was able to get out to go to any restaurants or do anything at all, outdoor things, outdoor cinema, then I was really excited to talk about it. And I'm sure it was tedious for everyone else, but still.
Hence why, you know, we're allowed to go kayaking because it's single and it's distance and it's great. And it's beautiful sunny day here in London. So, oh my God, this is just, it feels like such a treat to actually be able to go out and do something physical again.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Like when the gyms are open, I'm just so excited to go to the gym. I've never been so excited to go to a gym in my entire life.
I know. It's a wonderful thing, isn't it?
I'm just going to be like
gym numbers as well.
Yeah. We'll be bounding into the gym, just like so cheerful, just like lifting weights while singing.
Exactly what we're going to see. Gyms will be the new pickup places. Gyms are the new nightclubs.
That is, oh my gosh, yeah. Everybody's going to be like, oh my God, there's another person, they're sweating near me.
Yeah. I love it.
It's going to be interesting. They need to marry the two.
Yeah, get your best gym clothes ready, everyone.
Absolutely. Well, I've seen people go to get their vaccine all dressed up. So I'm like, well, everyone's going to be super dressed up now. Well, I hope so anyway. I hope everybody's going to, I mean, I'm going to burn all my joggers.
Yeah. My leg, oh my God, the day where we don't wear leggings every day.
Honestly, it's like my joggers, I'm like, that's it. I'll have a bonfire in my garden.
Maybe I'll fall over when next time I wear heels. It's been a year since I've worn heels out.
Oh my gosh, I was thinking that the other day. So I genuinely put on, I have loads of footwear, so people can't see because obviously we're on Zoom, but Gillian will be able to see behind me. That is just some of my shoe collection. I have a wall on the other side as well. And so I put on some heels the other day and I was walking around my flat and I was like Bambi.
Yeah. I think, that's a good tip to everyone out there. Maybe all ladies out there should start practicing walking in heels again.
Yeah.
And then dancing in heels as well. I think also, like, so my housemate and I, after I kind of quite, you know, we're a little bit squiffy, had this conversation about actually we're completely out of shape for dancing. So then we decided, okay, the best way to get in shape for dancing is, okay, we're going to start skipping every day.
Yeah.
And hula hooping.
I love that.
It's like circuit in the mornings of skipping and hula hooping away to actually try to get us in shape for clubbing again when the day comes. So
I love that.
Once I can dance all night.
I love it. So our main tips are find anything else to talk about except for COVID.
Yes. Get
loads of stuff booked in so that you are in, so it gives you something to do, but also makes you interested. Go to the gym in your best clothes.
Yep.
Be excited about everything.
Yes.
Burn your jersey, burn your joggers.
Yes.
Just let it burn. Then practice walking in shoes, any shoes, because I know, like, just in my house, I'm just walking around with just socks on. And then I only wear socks or trainers. Even if I was to put on a pair of flat boots now, I don't know what would happen. So I thought, like...
I'm in slippers every day.
Exactly. My sister's was wearing like sliders every day, and she's like, oh, I just haven't put on any. She goes, sometimes I put on trainers to leave the house, but honestly, I just even go outside in my sliders. She's Just no shoes for a year.
Yeah, we have no shame now, right? We have no shame. So I think, yeah, and maybe practice grooming. I haven't done my hair in a year.
Yes.
Maybe watch some YouTube makeup tutorials again. Make sure that you know how to put makeup on. All of those
Yeah.
skills, that life skills that we seem to have forgotten.
Exactly, yes. Like we need like a bunch of like bear-led tutorials on how to get out in the world again.
Lockdown ready.
Exactly, yeah. And then
do that.
And alongside your dance cardio to get you ready to dance the night away.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I love it. Absolutely love it.
So to wrap up then,
yep.
What kind of people do you want to join Bear? Who should join? Why should they join? And where can they find the app?
Everyone should absolutely join Bear. Of course, this is going to be my answer. But I will say, our thing is, dating for the open-minded. So be open-minded. We encourage everybody from all genders and all sexualities. So be open-minded. Also be prepared that, you might meet somebody on our site that is trans, that is gay, that is lesbian, that is bisexual. We try to encourage everybody. Mm-hmm. And you also might meet some people that are, 100% vanilla and standard, but everything is okay. Mm-hmm. And we really push for an inclusivity on the platform. Be polite, be kind, but be naughty is my kind of tips.
I love that. Be polite, be kind, but be naughty.
We can be found online, so on App Store and on Google Play, but then also bear.dating, and where we've got a website where we do have a lot of blogs, a lot of sort of information on the wonderful world of dating.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Gillian. And thank you for your tips. Thank you for telling us more about Bear. And let's have a catch up.
Have a review. I would love to have a review. Let's absolutely have a review in like 4 to 6 months' time.
Yes, exactly. We can look at those. We can look at those app stats. We can see what people are doing. We can, absolutely. And then see if we can. We'll see if we can get some followers' feedback on how their dating lives have gone as well. And we can maybe read it back.
I'd love that. I would love that. That would be so much fun.
Thank you for listening to Speak On. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share with your friends, family, co-workers, strangers in the street. To find out more about us, including our upcoming events, head over to Instagram, instagram.com/speakon_. Bye!